listening to The Announcer's Table with Daryl and Ian. This podcast is presented by RingIcon.com, the social networking site for wrestlers, fans, promoters, and everything indie wrestling. Log on today and create your profile, and as always, enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, it's Ian.
I'm Daryl.
And this is The Announcer's Table, presented by RingIcon.com, the social media site for wrestlers, fans, promoters, and everything in between.
That's right. Today's show, we're going to be talking about ring psych.
Yep.
This was a topic brought to us by William Powell, one of our fans of the show. Wanted to know a little more about it. He actually sent me, him and I talked quite a bit. He sent you a message first, and you told him a friend request me a couple of months ago, and then him and I talk a couple of times a week now.
Yeah, and that's the power of Ring Icon.
I know, right?
Brought us all together.
He sent me the other day, or the other week, a really long list of just like questions and thoughts and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, man, we're gonna try some of this stuff out. So let's talk about some ring psych and what it means to us and what it should mean to y'all. Yeah. We'll go with Promotion Builder first.
Yeah, Promotion Builder, ring psych. For me, Promotion Builder, the promoter and the booker need to be watching the matches of the show and making sure that the wrestlers, the workers, are all getting the story across through ring psychology. And you know, ring psychology as a whole is basically just taking a match from the start to the end and telling a good story to the fans. And giving the ring psychology a broad area for the fans to understand the match.
Yeah, and before the wrestler goes out there, whoever is booking the show, which may not always be the promoter,
right?
But whoever's booking the show, they should be watching talking with the wrestlers beforehand and making sure they have a pretty good solid start and a real good finish to a match, because especially if they're going to run a story on these two wrestlers, if they're going to be building up to something, you want to get the fans involved in it. Either you want them to get behind one guy, really liking this guy because you're going to give this guy a push, or really start hating this guy because you're going to give him a push, or really just like the fact that these two are battling a lot because they're going to battle over several times. So you want to make sure that the start is strong. You want to make sure the finish is strong, and you want to make sure it has some good meat and potatoes in the middle. And you really want the crowd to be getting into it. And if you see if your wrestlers go out there and the crowd is just kind of flat, dead, not into it, then you want to be able to talk to them when they come back and be like, all right, you know what? This is possibly, you could have done this here or done this here or waited 2 seconds and could have got a different reaction here.
Right.
So you want to be able to talk to them, because that's all part of the ring psychology of just putting it all together.
Yeah. Or most of the time, from my wrestling experience, the ring psychology that a promoter or a booker could see from the back was whether it was too one-sided or it was too back and forth. Usually in the ring, a match is either too much one-sided to where it's one person just dominating the match, or it's that it just back and forth way too much to where the crowd couldn't really build up anticipation. Yeah. That the workers, not all the time you can feel it or see it, that's what's happening. So that's where the booker and the promoter come in hand of saying, y'all did really well, but I think that it was a little too much of this guy, or it was too much of this guy. You should have, held out this move or held out this thing a little bit longer. So, I mean, from a booker or promoter standpoint, to help build the promotion is what we're doing here. Is I think that watching and understanding and making sure that the story gets put across that you're writing in. Yeah,
absolutely. So I mean, you definitely want to pay attention, get with your guys, talk to them, let them know, especially if you're drawing out a storyline that's going to go over a couple of weeks or a couple of months, let them know what your idea and vision is, and talk to them about their idea and vision, and try and merge it together. 'Cause I think that's where you're going to get the best,
Oh yeah.
reaction and the best everything if you kind of are on the same page going together.
Right.
So I think you'll get the best everybody to get into it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, I think, making sure that the beginning of the match is telling a good story. Just don't go in there and grapple and, make sure your guys aren't just going in there and grappling and starting a match off when, that might be how you start the story off or something, you just put the matches together. But, eventually you need to have your heel and your baby, work together and be able to tell a match even before they step foot in the ring. The heel and the baby should already have the crowd eating out of their hands just by the entrance and,
Yeah, and even if they get on the mic.
Right.
Like if the baby's out there and he feels slighted because the heel did something and he can get the fans behind him, or if the heel's out there and he feels slighted because the baby's getting this big push or something, or is getting something he wants, he can make the fans hate him.
All right.
So it's all in how you want to set it up, and that could lead up to a good match as far as the promotion side. So you want to get with your guys, your workers, and talk this stuff out.
Yeah.
Let's go to Gimmick Builder and how it could help with your gimmick. In my opinion, if, one, talk to the guys you're wrestling. All right, get with them. Make sure, like we just said, your front is strong. You want to go in there. You're both real fresh, so you want to hit a couple fast spots, and kind of. I like that when you go in there and do like that chain wrestling at the beginning. That kind of like gets the fans kind of hopping into. You're like, oh wow, man, this is good. This is good. But you don't want to just have that awesome start and then like kind of nothing, and you go into like rest hold and rest hold and rest hold and rest hold and rest hold. I'm like, especially if it's going to be like a 10-minute match. I mean, how many rest holds do you really need, you know? And so, I mean, you want to kind of keep it going and keep it in momentum. And I'm not saying you got to keep going to that fast pace that you start the match with. But you don't want to just, like, slow it down.
Right.
But you want to talk and kind of have an idea of where you're going. Because all it's going to do is help better your character. If you're doing it right, it'll make people hate you more and love you more, depending on what your character is.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, a match should have a good arcing, story to where you start out and you're peaking up, and then you get to your climax, which is the finish of the match, and that's how the match should be. You shouldn't come up and then all the way back down to zero again. You need to keep building that story up, and so. Like you said, is you need to start out really well. You need to start out really strong. Even before you hit that ring, I mean, the fans should know your story and your character, on your entrance down and the heel's entrance down. That needs to be told through the entrance, and that's how you're going to get the crowd started, and then the beginning of the match, you need to entice them somehow. Don't always start off with a grapple hold, or don't even start off all the time with fast chain wrestling. Have something that's planned out that you think, okay, the crowd is really going to like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Try to do something new and different, because I know a lot of times everything starts off with a collar and elbow tie-up.
Yeah.
That gets old, because like if you have like 6-7 matches on the card, and then every match starts off with a collar and elbow tie-up,
yeah.
Do something different. Like, if the baby's like turns around and he's like trying to get the fans chanting, attack him from behind or something, or just something. Just try to get creative with it so you can get because you want to get the fans into it, because if they're not into it, they're not going to want to see you.
Yeah, one of the matches that I did, we had a really good start. I was, instead of, just attacking, it started off with me, because I was the baby, I was cheering in the corner, and the guy came up and he was on the outside of the ropes. and he came up to the corner and hit me. And then he climbed up the ropes real quick and sunset flipped and tried to get the pin right off the bat. Just a quick sunset flip off the ropes.
Oh, was that Scott?
No, I mean this was way before that, and
Oh.
so it was a very interesting start. Trying the baby, which was me, getting the crowd into it. The heel takes me down from that real quick, and then even tries to get the pin right off the bat. So it was a unique start.
Yeah, that's how that has me intrigued right now.
Right.
I'm like, man, I would have loved to see that.
So that was just one of my matches that I can remember where the start was very unique, and I've had a lot since then, but that one sticks out in my mind. I mean, you can always start off matches, and that's one of the biggest things that's gonna start the crowd.
Yeah, and you can always, like, if the crowd is just kind of dead, and say you're a heel, you can always powder out and just go get in somebody's face in the audience. And that's going to just rile everybody up, and then, like, get back in there, do whatever. And even as a baby, you can powder out and like, try and get the crowd into it for a second. And that way, get them to pay attention. Because that's what it's about. I mean, good ring psychology has the crowd's attention the whole time. Because you're telling a story the whole time.
Right.
And I don't know what else to say. It's you want to get the crowd in it because they came to see you. And another thing that a lot of wrestlers don't understand is there's some wrestlers that you think it's just about you, and it's not.
Right.
Okay, you think, well, I'm better than this person, I'm better than that. Well, you know what? No, a good wrestler with good ring psychology that's going to tell a great story is going to go out there and work with.
Yeah.
Okay, regardless of regardless of the talent level difference, or if it's the same, you're going to go out there. If y'all work together, communicate together, put the egos aside, and just go out there and put on what the fans want to see,
right,
you will see a great difference. I mean, I will give you a prime example. Teddy Hart. That dude has so much talent, is phenomenal, has the name to be the man, has ego, okay, and will just do what's best for him,
right,
every time.
So what you're saying is that they need to do what's best for business.
Exactly. Do what's best for business, which business is the audience.
Right.
And what they want to see, what they paid, the blue-collar workers, okay, that are coming up there with their family because their family wants to do something on the weekend, and they're taking maybe the only $20 they have left to spend it at your show. Give them what they want.
Yep. And, no better way to finish the gimmick build or the gimmick builder segment off is the finish of the match. I mean, the finish of the match needs to leave. I mean, the whole point of the psychology is it needs to leave the crowd with wanting more.
Yeah.
No matter whether it's wanting more from one wrestler over the other wrestler, or whether it's wanting more from that storyline. Or I mean, like when I said one over the other, is if that storyline is finishing, then
they need to be left satisfied.
Yes, they need to be left satisfied, but also you need to be leading into the next story for one of those guys. You know what I mean? And so the crowd needs to say, well, I want to know what's going to happen to him next. I want to know where he's going next. Why did this ending happen? You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So the finish of the match is the most important. The start is where the crowd gets going. The high spots are what keeps the crowd into it, but the finish is what keeps them wanting more. And that's the whole
because
point.
if you think about it and you do it right, the finish is actually the start
of
the next
else.
match.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about it like that. The finish that you're going to do tonight is the start to next week or next month or however often y'all do y'all shows.
Definitely.
So. And once again, we want to thank William Powell for submitting this. And we hope you learned and we answered some of your questions. If y'all have something y'all want us to discuss, please send Ian a message, send me a message, friend us on Facebook. Daryl Collins, Ian Carson. He's not on Facebook a lot, so you'd probably have a better chance at friending me and talking to me. I talk to everybody.
And you can always hit us up on Ring Icon.
Ring Icon.
Yeah.
So, our comment on the YouTube videos. I mean, send us a message. Tell us what you think, your ideas. If you're like, hey, you suck, hey, that's fine too. Tell us why we suck. You know, hey, if you're great, that's great. Also, tell us why we're great. You know, if there's ideas you want to talk to us about, anything, just let us know. We're open to anything and everything.
Definitely. So, that's about it for the announcer's table this time. You know, tune in next week for another promotion and gimmick builder. And in the meantime, you know, check out all our other videos.
Absolutely.
So, all right.
And you suck.
You suck.